the reflection that wasn't mine. James had just moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of town. It was cheap, quiet, and came with a huge antique mirror hanging in the bedroom, too heavy to take down. The landlord had said. James didn't mind. He was never superstitious. The first few nights were normal, but then strange things started happening. At night, James would wake up feeling watched. The mirror faced his bed, and sometimes just before he turned away, he thought he saw movement, like his reflection lagging behind. One night he decided to test it. He raised his right hand. His reflection raised its left. He tilted his head. His reflection hesitated, then followed. His skin crawled. But he forced a laugh. "Just my imagination," he muttered. Then one night he woke to a scraping sound. The mirror, it was shaking. James sat up, frozen. The glass trembled violently. Then, in a sudden gut-wrenching moment, his reflection smiled at him. James wasn't smiling. He scrambled back as the glass cracked, a web of fractures spreading. His reflection's grin widened, too wide. Then the mirror shattered. James shielded his face from flying shards. When he lowered his hands, his breath caught in his throat. The room was unchanged. The mirror was still whole. Not a single crack. But something was different. He looked closer. His reflection mimicked his movements perfectly again. Except, his reflection's eyes were filled with terror. And then, without James moving a muscle, his reflection reached out, pounding on the glass, screaming silently. Trapped. James lifted his hands in shock. But they weren't his hands. They were his reflection's hands. And as he watched in horror, the real James on the other side of the glass turned away, smirking, and walked out of the room.